What's up, everyone? Showdown breakdown time. Broncos at the Bills. Don't worry, Bobbywow will be here shortly, but I figure I get this thing going, get you started, start going through some of these matchups, and we'll get a look at this slate. Before we even get started, though, I want to send out. I don't know about to send out. I just want to show this screenshot. We had a really good weekend of NFL DFS action, more so on the early slate than on the main, because unfortunately, Dak, I was not on Dak at all. So that was a rough one. That was a rough one this weekend when he went crazy. Normally, we try to avoid teams that are 20-point favorites. They usually don't do what happened there. I think that's an anomaly, but we'll see what's going on with that team. But check this out. I'm so impressed by the screenshot from this weekend. 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, 7th place, 8th place. That is something that you just don't see. That means the tools are on point. That's the mini max, or that's the 20 entry max. I think that might be the play action to be the $3 contest. All these different players. That happens because your tools are on point, your projections are on point. So great job on the early slate. Yes, Tony Pollard, dead to me for sure. I agree with that, 100%. Last night on the showdown, I was personally in first place up until that last reception by the tight end Conklin. So frustrating. So you go from up, 5, 6, 7 grand to a couple $100. And that's just how it goes on these showdowns. And more of the same tonight. So let's take a look at tonight's game. And again, don't worry, Bobbywow will be here shortly, but we're going to take a look at tonight's game. And we'll start with the matchup sheet, where I'm going to enlarge this so it shows a little bit better on screen there. And we can see what we look at initially are understanding some of these, snap counts, who's being used and why. And there are some interesting details here on the Buffalo side that I think are important. And I'm going to explain why I think what's going on is going on the ownerships. But take a look here. So at running back, Cook and Lats Murray continue to kind of split the work, with Lats Murray still getting, he got 44% of the snaps, a target. A lot of the work actually went to James Cook last week, but Murray is out there on the field quite a bit. Now, tonight, maybe there's no turd hat for you, Bobbywow. Take it off, sir.
I got delayed, so it's the
no, not for that. Only on a bet. But absolutely, I don't allow it. But I'm talking about a situation here at running back with the Bills, and the one thing is they picked up Leonard Fournette. I don't know if he's going to play tonight or if he's going to come off of the practice squad or be called up, or I don't think he's available in the DraftKings player pool at all. So it's not like you could play Fournette even if he's in. But I think if he gets called up from the practice squad, we have to lower our expectation for Lats Murray. Beyond that, Lats Murray's fine. He's getting 50. He's still out there quite a bit.
I do think Fournette was not elevated, so I don't think we have to worry about him eating into usage tonight.
So we're not playing, not activate. I'm seeing it in the chat. So in that case, look, again, 44% snap count for Murray last week. It's not different than that all season long. So he will be on the field enough to do some DFS damage, so to speak. I think the big shift, take a look down here at K-Shack and his season long snap count compared to, for example, last week. Now, here's the thing with that, and that's been the last few weeks with Shakir, and I think it's important to understand this. The reason that Shakir is on the field as much as he is because of the injury to Knox. So effectively, the Bills went away from running double tight end quite a bit to they don't have a second guy, so they're running 3 wide almost all the time.
Yep.
The effect of that is just keeping Khalil Shakir on the field a lot more than he's been. Right? It's that simple.
Yep.
I think a couple other turds to keep an eye on. Certainly Trent Sherfield at a 36% snap count. That's kind of like a backup wide receiver at WR4 level. I think he's in play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deontay Hardy was more interesting earlier in the season. It seems like his role has diminished, but also probably kept in the 2-3% turd potential for a one play kind of pop situation. And of course, we love Dalton Kincaid getting all the snaps, and he's just been targeted. Look at last week, 34% of the targets, Bobbywow.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, you probably mentioned it earlier, but I love how simple Buffalo keeps it, right? Very different than what we'll see with Denver.
Yeah. Buffalo effectively, there's not a lot of extra names here. The only turd actually, Gabe Davis is kind of a turd. But in general, some of these guys, like, they have their normal crew out there. The only thing you have to account for Hardy a little bit. You have to account for Latz Murray a little bit. But I didn't mention this about the game itself, Bobbywow. So that now that you're here, but the Broncos are coming off of effectively a Super Bowl win. This is not a setup for a good game for the Broncos. So normally, I don't know how else to. They won their Super Bowl last week. Teams generally don't come back from that and look amazing. They look like letdown. I bet the Bills is what I'm saying. I think they knocked the snot out of the Broncos tonight.
Man, okay. Yeah. All right, interesting.
Yeah, coming off of the big win, it's just exhausted from all of that energy exerted. You can't do it 2 weeks in a row.
It's a big spread though. It's still 7.5.
Yeah, no, I got it under 7, of course, but nonetheless, yeah, it's 6.5. But
okay.
Yeah, I took it at 6.5. So let's move over to the Denver side, and it's much more complicated over here. So Russell Wilson been playing a little better lately. Whatever. I think a big thing is that Javonte Williams. You can take a look at his snap counts, right? And they have been improving. So Javonte Williams came off of an incredibly destructive knee injury last year, and it's taken a while for him to come back, similar to some other players in the league. But we see here he's up to a 67% snap share on the season, and he is effectively the guy. Of course, you got these other two guys, P. Ryan and McLaughlin, to deal with. They're both getting snaps. They're both getting touches. Let's see. Yeah, and they're both getting targets.
Yep.
Which means they're all playable. They're all playable. We'll have to. Do you have a preference between P. Ryan and Jaleel?
I don't. I mean, P. Ryan is half the price of Jaleel on DraftKings, which makes it a bit more intriguing to go with him. But Jaleel's probably the more explosive player. So, but yeah, I think both of them are under 4K. Both of them are playable.
Yeah. Tough to get away from it. Last week, Jerry Jeudy got all the targets, 33% target share. Weirdly, he only had a 59% snap count. I don't know what's up with that. Where Courtland Sutton's out there pretty much all the time. Courtland Sutton's been a little better on the year from a having pop games perspective. Is there any cornerback sort of matchup situations here that push us to one or the other, Bobbywow?
I don't think so. I don't think there's a lot of variables at play, so I don't know that we can make a definitive push in this game. Not for me, at least.
Jeudy just hasn't been great this year. Sutton has a couple of good games, but neither one is all that impressive. And then you got all these other guys. Even Traquan the Chef is on this team? Since when?
Can you believe it?
He's still in the league? What the hell is going on here? The original turd. I believe Traquan Smith was the original turd. Showdown turd from 5-6 years ago.
With the Saints. Oh, yes.
That's
I don't think it's going to happen tonight.
We've done hundreds of these breakdowns, Bobbywow.
Yes.
Hundreds of them. And we all still remember Traquan the Chef night. Why was that such a memorable one? That's the most memorable showdown ever. 3 receptions, 2 touchdowns. I remember the stat line.
That was crazy, man. And we called it. We talked him up.
Yeah, I think it's because we talked it up, and it was good to be right. It felt really good. I don't know, Mims, Little Jordan, Humphrey, Smith. None of them are getting targets. I don't know. How much do we have to worry about these
man.
guys on a slate like this? Is this even something that matters?
Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. Like Traquan Smith, Lil Jordan Humphrey, it's hard for me to get there. I think Marvin Mims, you could make a better argument for, but it's pretty gross.
Yeah, he's been terrible. One interesting super cheapie that we have available to us here is Adam Troutman. I think I saw him for 200.
Yeah, I think he's mid-price.
Yeah, stone mid. So the starting tight end, who does not get targeted almost at all, by the way, for whatever that's worth, rarely gets a target. But he is priced at 200 and an 80% snap count. Now he's blocking most of the time. They don't really throw to him that much, but that doesn't matter. A $200 player, only 2 targets, that's enough. So 2-3 targets for someone like Troutman. If you need the one turd from the Broncos in your Bills onslaught lineup, that could be it right there.
I think you're right. Do you think he'll be popular, Troutman? Probably not. He didn't have a single catch last week. He didn't have a single target last week.
Yeah, but he's got a 9% target share on the season. He does get 2 or 3 targets a game. It's nothing good. It's probably, you're hoping for 2 receptions, one of them being a touchdown, but you can get there with a guy like that. Just 3 or 4 receptions for 30 yards. That's it.
Absolutely.
It's more than enough. So Manhurts and Adkins, I don't think we really need to account for these guys too much. So don't go crazy with this. Can turds get can man turd get a touchdown? Sure, anybody can. But it looks pretty bad.
Man turds.
Gosh. All right, let's shift over to the cheat sheet here and start breaking this thing down. Guys, reminder, we are not monetized for this one. We have shut it down so you don't see commercials for this one. Now, that's a convenience for you. All I ask in return, and it's not a lot, is to hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. That way we don't have to monetize. You don't want commercials in the middle of the video. It breaks the flow. That's why we do it. So we don't ask for much. Monetize, maybe share the video out there with somebody. Let them know, hey, the DFS Army guys, they do a pretty decent job breaking down these showdowns. Bobbywow, did I tell you last night, the last play of the showdown took me out of first place. That reception, that long reception. Yes. And I was watching Zach Milton scramble and do one. I was like, ain't nobody's catching that. That throw was off the back foot. And it's something that Wilson
been 0 for 8 on those throws the whole game.
Yeah. He's 0 for lifetime on those kind of throws. I'm like, all right, we got this. Shit. That throw, that one reception that propelled Conklin ahead of me. Oh, so angry. That was frustration. That is the beauty of DFS though, guys. So if you play these and you've experienced that pain, that's just what it is. That's part of it. That's part of this whole thing that we're doing.
It makes it beautiful.
It's the thrill of victory, but it's also the agony of defeat. There is no thrill of victory without the agony. And I felt the agony last night, Bobby. I was like, fuck. And then and then all the usual suspects are on Twitter, they won. Oh, that last play put me in first place. I'm like, you fucking pricks.
Well, you know what the worst part is? I think this may have benefited you. Conklin knocked the ball out of Wilson's hands on the Hail Mary. Did you see that?
No.
If Conklin doesn't deflect the ball, I think Garrett Wilson.
Wilson. Yeah. I saw. No, that would have been great at the end. Listen, at that point, I was knocked out of first. So at that point, I was like, hey, catch the touchdown, Wilson, Garrett Wilson. Yeah, of course I saw it. I thought Garrett Wilson had
just double Conklin damage.
Yeah.
Had that catch, and then he knocked the ball at the end.
Yeah, it was nuts. All right. So anywho, let's move on. This is a tricky one. I don't know if it's a tricky one. So I think actually the captain spot is not super tricky here. So take me through a Bobbywow. Obviously, Josh Allen is the guy.
I think Josh Allen's the guy. And man, the more I look at this, the more I can understand why Adam Troutman would be chalky, because he lets you do so much with Josh Allen at captain. So I think Allen, obviously Diggs is up there as well. I think those two guys, the clear top two.
There's no question that Allen has been the nuts captain a ton in these showdowns for the Bills. If it's not Allen, it's usually Diggs. So those are your two guys. You know, I think the third best for me is going to be probably Dalton Kincaid.
I'm
He's
with you
got
on
that
that.
heavy use.
Yeah, can you sell me on James Cook a little bit? Would you
No.
have included him here? Okay.
No. I don't see much of an angle for James Cook to be the highest scorer. I think it would be really, really surprising.
It's the defense, right? Denver has the worst run defense in the league, far and away.
Yes, they're terrible. In order for James Cook to get there, the Bills would have to, and this can happen in a game, the Bills would have to change the way that they use him and just use him more around the goal line than what they normally do.
Right.
They would have to shift from what they're usually doing, which happens. I mean, hey, that's why weird shit happens in football games. You never know. But that's what I think it would require from Cook. He's got to get touchdown. In order for him to be the captain, he needs 2 touchdowns, not 1. I think you're asking a lot.
He's a better play on FanDuel for me.
One thing about James Cook and the touchdowns is they do occasionally throw to him, and not like a check down to the running back, but rather a proper, in full motion running, running an actual pattern. Like, it's not only James Cook check downs. They do throw to him on occasion in a pattern,
and
you
those
could
wheel routes.
Yeah, the wheel route. That's the one. It wasn't popping in my head. I was like making the, that pattern that running backs run, the wheel route. So yeah, they do. He does that, and so on occasion, you get a touchdown off the wheel route, and you've already run for 100 yards and a couple of receptions. Like, oh shit, this guy got a 20 and a 22, and it's a low scoring game, and that's the nuts. Like, there is a scenario slim that it happens.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with a lot of the rest of these, so I'll just kind of like briefly. I think Cortland Sutton has done it a couple times this year. They'll probably be throwing. It could get there in garbage time late in the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Russ has looked competent. Not to say that Russ should be a captain, but I think that elevates Sutton and Judy a little bit.
Yeah. And also, again, the potential for a little garbage time goodness. It just takes so little for a wide receiver to get there. You saw with Conklin last night, that one reception, like, boom, 8 more points. Like, it is just not that hard. One catch, one big play, a couple things like that. And they can get there real quick. So even though I, for example, feel that the Bills should be able to really control this game, even the Giants scored last week against Dallas, like, with no quarterback. So anything can happen. And I'm sure Russ can complete a pass. Gabe Davis, Bobbywow. Is that a Bobbywow alternative potential play there?
I don't know that it's a flag plan or anything for me, but look at that ownership. 2% at captain is pretty low. He's a guy that I see if I'm running 150 lineups, I want 10% exposure to Gabe Davis, just because he can score 0 4 weeks in a row, or 1 or 2, and then all of a sudden pop off for 30. So I want to get a little bit of leverage in MME there, but nothing crazy.
This is a player who's had 3 touchdowns in a game in his career. Like, it
happens.
Roster him for that. Yeah, I kind of think K-Shack might be better than of a play than Davis even.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why you think that.
Yeah, I would split that 10%, 5 for Gabe and 5 for K-Shack at the captain, and hope for a miracle. Hope for a Traquan Smith miracle.
Could happen.
Bobbywow, next week is Thanksgiving, and I still don't see the tree. It's not acceptable. Oh, there it is. That's awesome. I love that. That was the greatest. I love that just happened.
What a reveal.
And then Javonte Williams, starting running back. So, I think he's acceptable here, acceptable on FanDuel, all of that good stuff.
Yep.
He'll get a lot of carries. The Bills don't really just completely shut down the run. So he should be live.
27 carries last week.
I don't think he gets over 1.5. I would not bet the over on that. I would not bet the over on that at all. I don't make cranberry sauce, but I do carve a turkey.
Really?
Yeah, I do carve a turkey. YouTubed it. You gotta, there's a way. There's a technique. It's not like what your parents did where they took the carver thingy out and sliced it. That is not how you carve a turkey. You got to make beautiful medallions.
Wow. Okay.
Make not long slices. We're not making deli. Got to make medallions with your turkey breast.
I feel bad thinking about this. I don't even want to say it because I don't think it's how I really feel. But have you seen the movie Christmas Vacation?
Of course.
The first thought that popped in my head when you said that you carve turkeys is that when that turkey comes out and it's dry, it disintegrates basically.
No, I'm into the meats. I'm into the meats.
Okay.
I'm into the meats. I like barbecuing. But yes, you had to YouTube how to do a turkey breast. You can't just think you slice it like your parents did. They didn't have YouTube. It's not their fault. They didn't have YouTube at that time. They didn't know how to. They didn't know how to carve it. All right, so let's talk about alternate plays here. So of course, I think Josh Allen's who you're starting your lineup with, or maybe Diggs, or maybe Allen, maybe Diggs. When you start with those guys, it's expensive, and now you got to figure out the rest of a lineup. Take me through like the rest of it here, Bobbywow. In terms of number one, do we have a core on Kincaid? 3-star. I mean, Kincaid has been core for the last few games. Now he's coming back because the price has gone up quite. He's so expensive at this point. He's almost priced like I don't know. He's below Kelsey, but around any other tight end. Is there a more expensive? He's in the Hawkinson zone here at 8,400. That seems like a lot.
He's getting up there, but there's a reason for it. I think this is a worthy for a pay up spot again for Kincaid. He's getting a ton of looks. He's a featured in that offense. I mean, Stephon Diggs was complaining about not getting the ball enough, I think, because Kincaid it's been getting peppered. So I don't mind paying up for him. Yeah,
he makes sense. I don't think I don't need every single lineup at this price. It's not like it was 5,500 a couple of weeks ago. Right. He's not adding to your ability to afford other players. He is one of the studs in your lineup now. Whereas before you were getting him as almost like a neutral, the 4 to 6K neutral player price. So he's in the stud zone at this point. Let's see. Javonte starting running back here for 7,200. That's okay.
It's a good price with the volume he's been getting.
I don't think I can get on board with James Cook at 10K. I didn't realize he was that expensive.
He's too pricey on DraftKings. I can't get there. I mean, Lats Murray has more rushing touchdowns this season than James Cook, so tough to make the case.
I think that's a misprice, in my opinion. Probably hold ownership down. It is. You can see the ownership looks a little low on him because of that reason. It's a bit of I didn't even notice it till just now.
Kincaid too. I mean, people are seeing Kincaid's price. They're getting nervous. His ownership's lower than I would expect.
Here's Courtland Sutton, 7K, 6,800. Jerry Jeudy is fine. We got our kickers, defenses. Do you have a preferred side for the kickers defense? Are you on Bills defense?
I mean, they have to be in consideration, right? Russ has turned the ball over quite a bit at times, although Russ has looked way more competent lately. So I'm not as excited about defenses here as we have been the last couple of slates, but they're certainly in play.
Yeah, the same with the kickers, I would say for me. Yesterday I said load up on kickers in the DFS Army chat as I didn't do the breakdown, and actually both kickers were in the nuts, I believe.
Oh yeah.
It was a combo
for the kickers.
You got it. So a little just nugget of reality out there for people. If two really good defensive teams or bad offensive teams are playing each other, that's where those kickers really come into play more than anything, because the teams can't get into the end zone. So like the Jets could not score because they're the Jets, right? And the Raiders couldn't score because they're a mediocre to bad offense taking on a Jets good defense. So everybody's just kicking field goals in those kind of games. You got to load up on kicker. This is not that situation. The Bills should be able to get in the end zone against a mediocre Denver defense that shut the shit down of the Chiefs last week, but I don't believe in that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that. I think they're a little better than what we thought earlier in the season. They're not like the worst defense in the history of the NFL, but they're not shut down, Pat Mahomes level either. Right. It's just like a random game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I don't think T Swift was there, so that's their superpower.
That might have been it, actually.
Yeah,
man,
doesn't help. Going down to the turd zone, there's really not a lot of players here to talk about. K-Shack at 4,400, I like a lot.
Great value. Mims is pricey, given he's basically has a floor of 0. He's a big play guy. He's one of those like MVS type plays where he can catch an 80-yard bomb and ruin your night or get you 0.
Definitely. Yeah. So there's some serious 0 floor here for Mims. That's a high price. Broncos defense, okay. And then we get into the how do I play these lineups zone. And we already talked about Troutman. He really is like 200 and a starter and probably going to get you 0. Could you win with a $200 0 in your lineup?
We haven't seen that in a long time. We talk about it, but I don't know that it's actually happened in a long time. Someone's scoring points down here. There's too many turds that get snaps. They're scoring. I don't think you win with a 0.
But wouldn't it be funny?
This is the type of slate, though, right, where you've got really, really strong pay up guys in Diggs and Allen.
Everybody's priced up in a weirdly high level to the point where, all right, let's say I wasn't doing the showdown with 1 million people in it, but rather like 100-person or a 50-person one. And I think unfortunately, I think Troutman will be so chalk that we won't even be able to really know. But I was kind of thinking if there was no chalk like $200 player on a slate, what an interesting strategy it would be to just throw effectively a 200 in there, take the 0, but have a different lineup than everybody else.
That's interesting. Yeah, if you're going to do that,
yeah,
Troutman's the guy to throw in there for me.
Rison's asking, do I think Allen will throw for more passing yards than Russell Wilson? I didn't bet that. Allen is projecting for a lot more passing yards. But no, I bet the under on Allen passing yards for this game. I don't think that, but I did that because I don't think Denver will be competitive. So yes, I would say I would have him throwing for more, definitely. Any other players here to talk about? We covered kind of Trent Sherfield, Samaje Perine at 1,400.
He's intriguing to me. I think I'll have a decent amount of him. Feels like he's been working in a little bit more, and if the Broncos fall behind, he's a guy that's going to get a bunch of reception work.
I do think they will fall behind, and so I think we're going to have that maybe late game sort of spread offense from the Broncos. I think in that sort of I think Samaje is an interesting pairing with like Bills onslaughts. Because the Bills are sort of dominating the game, defense done well, and then late in the game they just got like Samaje out there, catching checkdowns.
Yep. It's just hard. The only issue with that is just hard to figure out if it's going to be Jaleel or Samaje, because those guys will both rotate in there. It's a change of pace.
Yeah, and they both catch a pass, so that one is a little bit tricky. But I mean, wouldn't it be interesting if the game went down like that and these guys were your one-off Bills?
I really like that. Yeah.
I don't like any of the Bills in this. I don't want to pay for any of them. Troutman is the guy. What's that? I keep saying Broncos. Yeah. I don't like any of the Broncos. I keep saying Bills. The Broncos. So there's that. Let's jump over to DraftKings here and see what it looks like to put a lineup together. All right. So if I'm starting with Josh Allen, and I want Steffi Diggs in there, I'm already almost out of money. We put in Troutman, and then you take it away from there.
Hold off on Troutman for now. Let's just see what happens.
Okay, so you want to maybe allow for a Jaleel or one of those guys. Okay.
So let's go Khalil Shakir. He's really cheap.
Okay. K-Shack. All right. Where are we going next? 4,900 left, Bobbywow. So, let me so people can see. Hold on.
I think I'm getting Jerry Jeudy in there. I don't know. I have a feeling Jerry Jeudy has a decent game tonight. I know it's gross.
Over Jamal Williams or Javonte?
Well, think about it. If Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Shakir are smashing, how much is Javonte running the football? I mean, that's where he does most of his damage.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
But I mean, they're all in such a similar price range. You could go with anyone.
So tough to pick one of these crappy wide receivers instead of
I'm leaning Jeudy tonight.
39.5 left. So let's see who you would want. You can't even get to Kincaid. We don't have enough at all for him. And it's super unlikely that it'll be Diggs, Shakir, and Kincaid all in the same lineup.
So Javonte, and then you got your pay down, right?
If we switch to Javonte, I see what you mean. Javonte, Judy, $200 guy.
There you go.
And you have 500 less.
So Judy and then kicker, and then you can get up to Jaleel or P. Ryan. That would be another variation.
So another version, Judy, and I don't think it's Denver kicker. Let's say it was. How about Buffalo defense? And yeah, here you can get a Jaleel or a Samaje in there as well.
There you go.
Yeah, here's the problem with this idea of putting the cheapest guy in captain. He's going to get a 0. So you're taking a 0 at captain. It's tough. That's a tough way to go.
And he might not. I mean, he might score okay, but I still, on a slate like this, he's going to have to score 8 to 10.
When has Stroutman scored okay? Yeah.
He's had 2 good weeks.
Let's see.
He had a really good week a couple weeks ago against a solid defense. I don't remember who it was.
Jets. There it is. So he had a 5-target game back against the Jets.
12.6 might do it.
Yeah. But that happened once. And week 1, it looks like also a 5-target game. So it's happened.
I'm not going him a captain, but he's far and away the best punt.
I think when you have Troutman in there, your lineups look pretty good.
Yeah.
Here I can get off of Judy.
Go up to Russ. Look at that.
Kincaid, Russ. You want to play Russ? Not bad. I don't think Russell Wilson outscores his pass catchers, but, there you go. So that'll do it for the DraftKings portion. Any final thoughts? Your favorite Bobbywow is
my favorite
Troutman on the paydown.
Troutman on the paydown. I don't know. I just have a feeling Judy performs the best of the Denver pass catchers, or of the Denver options. I mean,
think it's going to be Judy? Too. You like Judy?
I do like Judy, and I don't know why. There's really no reason for me to say that, analytics wise. I feels like him.
And Kunath is right. A lot of times these showdown lineups, they just make you want to throw up.
Yes, they do. I think, one thing that I'm seeing is Dalton Kincaid is in such a weird spot. I think his ownership might end up being lower than it's projected right now. He might be the sneakier play to try and fit him in.
You see here as you're building, the first thought is I want to put Diggs in there, right? And then you're like, and I've got Allen already. So then you're like, oh, should I pay up for another Kincaid? Oh, I don't know. So that had us looking at Judy or Sutton. So maybe that's sort of the standard, and maybe the right approach, slightly different, is actually to include Kincaid or even drop Diggs for one of those guys. I've seen a couple of there's a couple of threads on Twitter where people need the over on Diggs for these massive parlays, and those never hit. So maybe we should just based on that, we should take the under. Like there's a ticket out there that I saw, and I actually gave some advice, but like somebody needed over 80 yards for Diggs to complete like a $5 into $17,000 parlay. And so I was like, I explained how to you would hedge that. You don't just leave that out there.
I saw that.
But then I saw a few others with the same guy, and I'm like, damn, that's too many parlays, that are relying on Diggs at this point. Maybe it's time to maybe we should fade a little Diggs here. I don't know.
I like it. That was good analysis, by the way. Very educational.
It's just that people don't understand what they're doing on a sports book, and they give an advantage to the sports book that you shouldn't. If you just pay attention to the math, you shouldn't do that. So I want to see people on the sharp side of whatever they're doing. So I was like, nah, the worst thing you could ever do is cash in a bet. There's almost always a better way to lock in your profits. Don't cash in it. You hedge it, but you have to understand how to do it. All right. So anywho, let's move on to FanDuel here. Talk a little bit of the captain spot. Obviously on FanDuel, listen, FanDuel is a challenging format for showdowns because it's so tie heavy. And actually there's a benefit in the analysis of saying, guys, like the things that seem obvious, maybe don't do and try to win one solo. But the problem with that is you're going to lose so often.
Yeah.
so frequently. And that's a problem. So with that being said, it's like Josh Allen or bust at captain, at MVP this week, isn't it?
You could theoretically go all in on Josh Allen. That would be a viable strategy. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Cook's intriguing. Like, if you do feel like not playing Allen in some of your tournament lineups, maybe you go no Allen and you throw Cook in there as the MVP. To me, that's the only way Josh Allen doesn't get there.
It could also be weirdness with Lats Murray. That's the problem.
True. That's the Millie lineup on FanDuel, though. You got Cook at MVP, Lats in the flex, or double running back in the flex.
Yeah,
and
something
no
crazy
Allen.
like that you win it by yourself. I'm not recommending that's likely to win. I'm saying, yeah, like if it's going to happen, maybe that's one of the ways. Like it is very, very tough to differentiate yourself on a Bills showdown on FanDuel when everybody knows to play Josh Allen. He's going to be what, 30%, and it could go higher than that in the MVP spot.
I think it will.
So, he's going to be heavily owned. Diggs, second highest owned guy. Russell Wilson right there with him as a cat.
Yeah.
Wilson could get there.
I think Wilson's got a little bit better of a shot than Diggs. Not by much. I think Josh has it rated perfectly.
Yeah, I would agree. I think all three of Diggs, Cook, and Wilson are just okay. I think Javonte Williams is a little more than a 1-star as well. If this game goes different, like you ever want to see a game play out the way you think it is, but different, that's what it would be.
Well, because Denver,
Javonte's doing well.
Yeah, to me, Denver wants to avoid the shootout, right? Denver's not going to win a shootout with the Bills. They're going to want to control the clock a little bit if they can. And the way to do that is feed Javonte. So, there's definitely an interesting approach there too.
Yeah. Although again, I want it's, if the Broncos are scoring, the Bills are answering. True. They're at home. Again, the Bills coming off of the Broncos coming off of the Super Bowl win. That for them is the Super Bowl. It's like the Jets back in the Brady days taking on the Patriots and winning. It happened like 4 times over 11 years of 2 games a year.
The Bears won their Super Bowl last week too, because they beat the Panthers. So the Panthers are, we have their pick. So we have the number 1 pick through them because we beat them. And then Kyler Murray won. So, the Panthers are in last place by themselves. So the Bears won their Super Bowl too.
But do you want Fields on the Bears next year?
I do. So much value, man. That pick is going to be worth.
That pick is gold. Bears need to move down 2 spots and ruin Marvin Harrison Jr.
They have to get Marvin Harrison.
Oh,
they have to.
Do you not like that I said ruin Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I ignored
it. All right. All right. So let's just take a look at the rest of FanDuel here. I like Javonte as a play, 12K. It's funny. Again, James Cook, 11K on FanDuel, but like same price almost as Diggs on DraftKings. It's crazy. I don't know what's up with that. Big difference in price between Sutton and Judy as well. This is something to take note of. FanDuel is sharper and better at pricing players this year than DraftKings is. That's been going on all year long, Bobbywow. I don't know if you noticed it, but FanDuel is generally correct about how they're pricing these guys. DraftKings is not. FanDuel was the first one to just start nerfing the price of Pollard like weeks ago. And I'm like, whoa, he's a good deal over there. And he just keeps fucking us. Like, what do they know? How do they know?
How do they know?
They know.
Someone knows.
The fact that Cortland Sutton is priced massively above Jerry Jeudy probably should have us like thinking that maybe they should be more wide apart on DraftKings as well. No, but whatever. Dalton Kincaid is a nice price here at 10.5.
He's my favorite play on FanDuel. Yeah, I love Kincaid.
Yeah. Touchdown scorer too. You love those tight ends. They score touchdowns.
Yep.
Let's see who makes it affordable. K-Shack, he could get a touchdown. Lats Murray at 7,500. What about that?
Yeah, why not? He scored a couple touchdowns this season.
I think you need Adam Troutman much less on FanDuel than on DraftKings. You're probably leaning more, like I said just now, to something like P. Ryan or K-Shack for the savings.
Yeah, Lats.
Yeah, or Murray. I don't love it.
No.
I think Josh, when he put the notes together, it was unclear whether Fournette would be activated.
Yes,
so it might
exactly.
have been a little. I don't think Latz is a turd here. I think he's actually an okay play on FanDuel. All right, let's see what it looks like. Bobbywow, take me through it. We start with
start with Allen.
Okay,
go Allen and Diggs. Let's see what we got here.
It's going to be tough to do it.
9K. So what, you go with Shakir again?
This is the problem. Now you want Kincaid. Now you've basically gone Allen with 3 of the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know. I maybe get rid of Shakir, go to Kincaid, and then we got to fill some value here.
That's 8K.
Man.
Jaleel. You got 2 more spots left. In this kind of a build, go like P Ryan. This don't look good.
Yeah, P Ryan.
It would be P Ryan, and maybe just
Bills defense. Can you
Bills
get there?
defense or a kicker?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's tricky. With Diggs in there and Allen, it's very difficult to afford the pairing.
Yeah, I think you almost go. You go Shakir, and then you go Kincaid. Get rid of Diggs. That might be the most optimal approach.
I don't know if it's optimal, but it might be the most give you a chance to win. Right?
I feels maybe more balanced. Feels like a more balanced approach to me.
So in this scenario, we've got a ton of salary remaining. We're going to pull these 2 out.
Get rid of P Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah. And
get Russ in there.
Yeah. That's where you're putting in dangerous.
Russ and Judy. Oh no, you don't have enough.
And probably last spot is you're looking at a kicker or something like that.
More balanced.
T-Bass. So basically, the choice on FanDuel, as we just look through these numbers, I think the choice comes down to Russ or Diggs for that second spot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem good with the other one. So I don't know. I think you got to make a few lineups here. So like I'm not comfortable putting just one in because I think you want to build for Diggs goes crazy and one for Diggs doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, FanDuel's not as straightforward as it has been tonight. It's tricky.
Yeah, but also because we can't rely on anything from the Broncos. Like I don't want any pieces from the Broncos.
Exactly. Yes.
And then it's like, oh, should we pay all the way up for Russ, who's probably he's got a floor. He'll probably get you 14 in a bad game.
He's running the football too. He had 8 rushing attempts last week, 30 yards.
He's got a floor. Or do you go with like just punt away the Broncos spot and play all Bills and just make sure you get all that scoring? So
one other thing to check real quick. Take Russ out, go Javonte. Where can we go then?
Let's see here.
That would be the only other thing I want to see.
Ooh, okay, yeah, Javonte. All right.
And now then you
get rid of
T-Bass.
T-Bass or K-Shack, right? Let's see can you get Diggs in here? No. No Diggs. So I kind of still would almost leave Shakir in there. Where's Gabe Davis? Is he
He's
feel like, 12-5. Oh my goodness. That's a weird one. Like you got to have some exposure to it just because he's a touchdown scorer on FanDuel, but like I would be really low on Gabe Davis. You just have to count for that one crazy game. Like there's no in between with Davis. If he didn't score a touchdown,
exactly,
you're done. Let's see, 10K left, Bobbywow.
You got Shakir. Throw Shakir back in there. I just wanted to see what we get with the 5th person.
I don't even think you need to go this low. That takes us to 12K, and not quite enough for Sutton or Davis. Can get Judy in there or Cook.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to go this low.
No, I don't think we need to go that low either.
Judy works though in this lineup with a 2,000 left, but I think with that one I might get rid of K-Shack and just go like Bills defense or Will Lutz. Maybe field goal kicker here for the Broncos. They keep it close.
I don't mind that. It's to me the hard thing to get past in my head is how does a Broncos wide receiver, either Sutton or Judy, get there without Russ getting there on FanDuel?
They probably don't. They probably don't. They probably don't. But anyway, we showed a few different viable approaches.
Yeah.
On FanDuel here. The main thing being just like if you're trying to win this, you're probably start, like if I was just doing 20 and I didn't care about ties or anything like that, and I would just build 20 lineups around Josh Allen at MVP.
Yep.
Try to take first and tie with 1 million people, but you'll tie with 1 million people. So if you're trying to do this for ROI over time, you probably should just full fade Allen at MVP and use lower owned people that give you a chance at a solo. And it's a weird game, and Bill's defense is scores 21, and they're there. Could happen.
Bills are scoring points. If you're fading Allen, I'm putting James Cook in there.
Yeah, that's right. That's another way to go. If the lineup doesn't have Allen in it, you really want to have those running backs in it. James Cook, it'd be nice to see a big game from him. He doesn't profile that different from Mostert and Achane. They tore up this team a little while ago, so that's an acceptable spot as well. Any final thoughts, Bobbywow? Who's your flag planting on anybody here?
Oh man, no flag plants, but Dalton Kincaid. I like paying up for him still. I'm okay with that. And Jerry Jeudy. I think I'm going to be overweight on him too.
A lot of Jerry Jeudy mentions. I like it.
What about you?
I think that I don't really have. I think I have a weird feeling about Jaleel McLaughlin.
Okay,
as an interesting punt.
Yeah.
So that's somebody I'm sort of sniffing around. K-Shack, I like him a lot on DraftKings. Well, I like the fact that he is just getting more snaps than maybe he had been getting in the past. So maybe people don't remember that.
Great value, yeah, with that usage.
Yeah.
I like him too.
What would be a lineup in a 3-man? If I knew the lineups for 3-man that would beat McLovin, then it wouldn't be McLovin. It'd be like Chief ST. You know what I mean? I don't want to. You could beat those guys, but my suggestion is don't get into the 3-man with McLovin. If you see McLovin in the 3-man, he's there. He's got a partner, so they're both in there. So it's really just a 1-man. It's you against them more often than not. If you see that, don't enter that one. Just don't. Enter a 3-man with the people in there that aren't playing an optimal lineup. Give yourself a chance against somebody who isn't really playing the best possible lineup.
Yeah.
That's how you win at DFS. If you see him, don't go in that contest.
Run away.
Yeah. On FanDuel, on DraftKings, stay under $5 for those type of games. Unless you're bankroll, unless you're betting 1,000, 2,000, which is great. But if you're not, if you're just doing $50, do them $1 contest or $2 ones. Stay away from people who know what they're doing or who have extreme experience at this. There's still a lot of people who know what they're doing at those levels, but like at least the people who are the most experienced are locked out of those. DraftKings is a high threshold. You have to have played $1 million in entries.
Yeah, it is.
I'm locked out.
You're locked out of like the bit, like you're locked out of the $5. No, not $5, but I feel like it's higher than.
No, it's the same as anybody else. I can't do the mini maxes.
Mini max, yeah.
Which is the one I want. They took away my favorite kind of game. It doesn't risk that much. It's fun. Like I don't have to put that much thought into it. I can't do them.
That stinks.
They need to get that $4 mini max thing back. I was able to get in that one, and that was awesome.
That was a great contest.
Yeah, and the $3 one I'm in too. Yeah, stay on fish. Stay on the fish. All right. That's going to do it for this breakdown, guys. Reminder, if you're not signed up at DFS Army, we want you as part of the team. Come sign up now. Promo code Geek gets you a discount. VIP, we got NBA going strong. The biggest thing right now for us in DFS Army is we've perfected the new sim boost rules for the Domination Station Optimizer. And you saw what happened last week. I mean, this was the first week of putting it out there. I do live streams with the team where we go over how to set up and use these tools. And I think that's a big difference maker between DFS Army and other sites. As a matter of fact, I will be doing another live stream. I can't do them after the Monday because it's like an hour between now and when we're actually putting our lineups in. But if we do a showdown breakdown on Wednesday instead of Thursday this week, then I will do a live stream Wednesday night where I'm kind of setting up the optimizer and doing my thing. And that's a big part of what we do in DFS Army. It's a lot of teaching how to use these tools. It's not just projections and optimizer and good luck to you, or cheat sheets and good luck to you. We really try to make sure that our subscribers are able to win these tournaments and represent the DFS Army team the way that they have. So we really love that. We want you to be a part of this team. Get in here, and good luck tonight, everybody. We will see you guys on top of the leaderboards.